friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well rounded nerd. We're going dark today. Spoiler warning, if you haven't watched The Promised Neverland, and I don't know why you haven't, stop now, go watch it, come back, and finish the video. Promised Neverland is in its second season, which I have not started watching because I'm one of those people that needs a whole binge watch. So I'm going to wait for all the episodes to come out and then watch the whole thing at once because that's the way I like to do my anime. But in gearing up for the second season, I decided to go back and do a rewatch on the first season. This is an incredible show. If you've not been familiarized with it at all, it's a little dark. Okay, it's a lot dark. So this is like the warning that the kiddies might not really care to hear any of this. And I would not recommend letting your 5-year-old watch it either because it goes there. So The Promised Neverland is one of the most appropriately named stories that I've ever seen. It begins in this idyllic setting in a meadow with an orphanage, green land, beautiful clear water. The best place for an orphan child, heck, orphan, any kid, to grow up. Our three central characters are Emma, Norman, and Ray. Three of the older children that are in this orphanage. These children are blessed, even though they have no parents, they have this idyllic life. They are well taken care of by Isabella, or Mama, as she'll be referred to for the rest of this video. Mama's sole purpose in life is to give these children all the love, joy, tenderness, happiness, kindness they could ever want out of life. She comforts them if they hurt. She helps them study. She tucks them into bed at night, cooks them nutritious meals every day, sees to every one of their needs, just as any loving mother would. And all of these children, from the infants up to our older children, see themselves as one big happy family. And every now and then, a child is given the greatest gift of being adopted out. And they pack their little bag with their few belongings, and Mama grabs them by the hand and walks them to the front gate to wave them off to their new life. And all of the children are so happy for this friend of theirs that is getting parents, and they all look forward to the day that they will get parents. These two kids who wanted to wish their friend well as she goes off into her new life witness what really happens to them once they come to a certain age and, dare I say, ripeness. It's not an orphanage. It's a farm. And the children are the cattle. The children aren't being adopted out. They live in an enclosed space somewhere in some country. And outside the walls, the world is being run by demons. Actual demons who eat people. Specifically, they like to eat children. And when children are raised in happy environments and are free of bad feelings and are super intelligent and just absolutely perfect in every way, that's when they taste the best. This is where it gets dark. So one day, a child is being adopted out and she accidentally leaves behind a stuffed animal. Emma, being our inquisitive little redhead, must get it to her because she's going to need it in her new family in case she's sad at night because her adoptive brothers and sisters are not there with her. You know, she might need that comforting object. So Emma, along with another one of the children, Norman, takes a trip down to the front gate that they never go to follow Mama and this little girl. And they stumble upon something horrifying. First episode lulls you in to expecting this serene, idyllic slice of life story, and it's a horror show. But not the bloody kind of horror show. Psychological thriller is a good term to use for this show. Now we have these three children facing off against an adult who has been in the system, knows the system, and can predict their every move with pinpoint accuracy. Because I don't know about you, if I discovered I was being raised to be sacrificed to some demon as a steak, I'd want out. And the kids want out. But they don't just want to get themselves out, they want to get all of the children out. How can we save all of these kids? And our story transforms into this elaborate chess game between three adolescents and a seasoned, experienced adult trying to outwit one another to prevent escape or to escape. Now, I've read the manga. I'm not going to get into manga spoiler territory. And I do know that season 2 starts getting into more of that. But let's take it back a couple of steps. Imagine being a child discovering that your caretakers, who are supposed to have your best interest in mind, really have their own best interest in mind. Because Mama Isabella was once one of these orphan children. And somehow she was able to grow up and be in a position, after knowing what happens to all of the kids, to willingly raise them to be sacrificed. And there comes the great conflict and mystery in this series. Emma sees what happens. Norman sees what's happening. They share it with their third best friend, Ray. These three children know exactly what's going to happen to every child in that orphanage and any child who comes in after them. What are they going to do? Mama's job is to make sure these children are raised non-GMO, pollution-free. This is so terrible. Pollution-free, grass-fed, all natural, because that's what tastes best to the demons. And that's where this story becomes creepily real. Even though we're set in an alternate world full of demons who eat people, apparently that's the least of your concerns. Because the real evil is the humans that perpetuate this system to allow these things to happen. The adult humans in this world, they have to exist, because otherwise where are all these kids coming from, are okay with sacrificing a portion of their children for the greater good. The rest of them apparently get to live whatever kind of lives they're living outside of these walls, as long as they're willing to raise children for sacrifice. I don't know about you, but that kind of hits close to home. In a lot of ways, with things that are going on in the world, we can sacrifice a few people so the rest of us can live. Oh no, I'm not going to say it out loud. So our story transforms from this idyllic setting where children believe they're being raised in the best circumstances to three children knowing what the truth is and wanting to save themselves and the others that they kind of call family. They know that their mama is not really a mama to them. Isabella is part of the system. She is there to guard, protect, and raise them in the most idyllic circumstances, because non-GMO grass-fed children apparently taste the best to the demons. That's their purpose. It's frightening stuff. So then the story moves into this chess game where these three children are trying to outwit this very experienced, callous, calculating adult who knows their every move and can predict every trick they're going to try because she was them. The human response should be, when you discover an injustice and an atrocity, to want to right those things. Sometimes we have the power to do it, and sometimes we don't. And sometimes there's another person in the way who is more experienced, more clever, who can read our every move that prevents us from attaining the goal. These children have conceivably insurmountable circumstances that they have to overcome. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire show, but spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, some of the kids get out. They make it. And it is an intense battle between our main three and Mama over the course of the series. Just watching how it unfolds rivals any mystery you've ever seen before. It's not bloody. It's not gross, but it's intense. Because put yourself in the position of one of these kids to be small, dependent, maybe not as strong, and you're facing off against a foe who can predict every move you're going to make. Yeah, some of the kids get out, the older ones, who are able to run, jump, climb, and do things for themselves, and they promise one day to come back to the other children and rescue them. And that brings us to season 2. What's going to happen to these kids now that they've made it over the wall? What's waiting for them in that world out there? Now, I've read the manga. I know what's waiting for them. It ain't good. But all the lessons they learned, all the trials they overcame behind the wall, they now have to put that to test in a world that they know nothing about. What do you do? And I think that's where the true horror of this story begins to be relatable to the real world. There are people living in extraordinary circumstances that were created by other humans. Humans doing evil to humans to get ahead, to preserve oneself. How many people do you encounter who are messed up adults because they had a messed up childhood? No one's responsible for their childhood. These kids didn't ask for this. They didn't ask to be born as livestock. And would it have been better had they just never known? But they do know. And because they know, they want to do something about it. And that's admirable. I'm new at this YouTube thing, so I don't have much of an outro yet. But I hope you will like, comment, and subscribe, and we can talk about The Promised Neverland in the comments. This is by far one of my favorite anime to come out in recent years. I highly recommend it if you like a good mystery, suspense, thriller, just a captivating story that doesn't miss any beats. This is the one for you.